Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more Los Angeles Lakers news, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. What is the most talked about thing about the Los Angeles Lakers? It is that this team needs a great center. At the moment, center Jackson Hayes has been performing well in some games, but he can't keep it up in every game. Jackson Hayes is a good player, but the Lakers need another center to be a starter, and manager Pelinka has several names being considered, but one player has the profile that the Lakers are looking for from now on, a player who is young, strong, athletic, and who gets rebounds. Nick Claxton has these characteristics and will fit in very well with Austin Reaves, Luka Doncic, and LeBron James. With Nick Claxton opening up space for these three forwards, it will be difficult for a team to hold off the Lakers, because the LeBron-Doncic trio is getting along quickly and playing very well. Fixing the defensive system is a concern for JJ Redick. If these flaws are corrected, the Lakers will be champions soon. Lakers do not give up on a big man and want to bring in Nick Claxton. The Los Angeles Lakers feel really good about where their roster is right now. Still, they have a hole at center without Anthony Davis manning the middle. This trade proposal would fix that. Here is the proposal. Los Angeles Lakers receive Nick Claxton. Brooklyn Nets receive Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, 2031 first-round pick, LAL. Adding Nick Claxton as a rim protector would make the Lakers a lot more formidable. Their defense in the post is what is holding them back right now. Claxton is one of the best shot blockers and rebounders in the NBA. Having him back in the paint, being able to fix the mistakes being made by Luka Doncic and Austin Reaves would really make them scary. Read more. Lakers LeBron James analyzes Luka Doncic's game in mind. The game trailer. The Lakers would gladly give up both Rui Hachimura and Gabe Vincent in order to get Claxton. Adding the first-round pick is what is really enticing for the Nets. Brooklyn needs to rebuild. Any draft capital that they can get to help with that is what they should be looking for. Adding the first-round pick on top of two solid players makes this a good trade for the Nets as well. The biggest problem for the Lakers is that there will be a lot of competition for Claxton. He's one of the best young players in the NBA. Brooklyn could drive the price up. That means that the Lakers could have to overpay in order to acquire someone like Claxton. There are some other centers available for trade, so they might have to explore that. More Lakers news. LeBron James injury status for Lakers vs Rockets. This is a very fair trade for both teams. If this is a proposal that happens this summer, both teams should seriously consider agreeing to it. Fixing the center spot is the one thing that the Lakers need in order to become a perennial contender. Once that spot is secure, they have a great roster moving forward for the next 10 years. Claxton is averaging 10.3 points, 7.6 rebounds, and 2.2 assists per game. Gabe Vincent is averaging 6.4 points, 1.2 rebounds, and 1.4 assists per game. Hachimura is averaging 13 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 1.4 assists per game. LeBron James feels a team that makes a big midseason trade can contend. The first episode of Season 2 of LeBron James Mind the Game podcast dropped on Tuesday, and among the topics he discussed with his new co-host Steve Nash was the task of making a big trade at midseason and building chemistry on the fly afterward. It is something James' Los Angeles Lakers have had to do this season. They first shipped out struggling guard D'Angelo Russell for 3-and-D forward Dorian Finney-Smith, who helped change the team's character and improve its defense, which had been weak early in the season. Then came the tectonic Luka Doncic trade on February 1st. While the Lakers started to get hot shortly afterward and were being considered contenders by plenty of people, others were a bit skeptical that they could go very deep in the playoffs after making such big changes at midseason. On Mind the Game, James admitted that it's difficult to integrate stars into a lineup in the middle of a season, but he also said that a team that does so can still contend. Hat tip Lakers Daily. They're wrong, James said of the assertion that an NBA team can't make a blockbuster deal partway into a campaign and contend. They're wrong. It's very challenging, especially mid-season because, you really start the season in September, and you start to implement what you want to do offensively, what you want to do defensively. And yes, throughout the course of the season there's times where, okay, maybe we shouldn't do this. Okay, let's lean to this. But the premise and the staple of what you want to do offensively and defensively is put in place, you know? So, when you talk about blockbuster, not just a regular get a piece here or there, but if you add a blockbuster trade where you bring in a Luka Doncic, or a blockbuster trade, or if Anthony Davis goes to Dallas, whatever. You have to kind of rearrange how we're playing, you know? Shortly after Doncic made his debut in a purple and gold uniform, the team rolled off 20 wins in 24 games. But then a few key players, including James, got hurt, and 7 losses in 10 games followed. The Lakers have recovered to win back-to-back games with playoff implications against the Memphis Grizzlies and Houston Rockets. They're now back to full strength, and there are signs that they're starting to figure out how to maximize what they have offensively. However, they will be at a relative disadvantage against several teams in the playoffs, not just because of their remaining roster weaknesses but also because Doncic has been a Laker for only about 2 months. What is the best matchup for the Lakers in the playoffs? Will the postseason around the corner? Which teams should the Lakers be hoping to meet in the postseason? Welcome to SB Nation Reacts, a survey of fans across the NBA. Throughout the year we ask questions of the most plugged-in Los Angeles Lakers fans and fans across the country. Sign up here to participate in the weekly emailed surveys. Wins in their last 2 games over the Grizzlies and Rockets not only helped the Lakers remain in a race for the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, it also effectively ruled out any chance of a play-in game appearance for the purple and gold. The last time the Lakers made the playoffs and didn't have to win a play-in game to get there was the 2020 season. Now, instead of looking to secure home court in the play-in game, the Lakers can not just home court in the first round of the playoffs, but out which opponents they may match up with best. In our latest SB Nation Reacts survey, we asked which of the 4 teams below the Lakers, Grizzlies, Warriors, Clippers, and Wolves, would fans most want to see in the first round. Technically, the Lakers can still finish as high as the number 2 seed. Theoretically, then, they could be on the complete opposite end of the play-in game and be waiting for an opponent to emerge from the first game between the number 7 and number 8 seeds. As a result, there's a lot of teams who could still meet the Lakers, even extending beyond the 4 listed. Still, these are the 4 most likely and would be intriguing matchups for LA. Both the Grizzlies and Warriors are teams the purple and gold met during their 2023 playoff run, beating both teams in 6 games. To reach the playoffs that season, they had to go through the Wolves in the play-in game. The Clippers are the only team they don't have postseason history, though that's not the Lakers' fault. The 2 sides were on a crash course in 2020, but the Clippers flamed out of the bubble and the Lakers went on to win a title. So, which team do you want to see the Lakers meet in the first round? Vote above and let us know your thoughts below. The Lakers' free throw attempts have seen a shocking change since Luka Doncic trade. After being a point of contention for so long, the Lakers' free throw numbers have drastically shifted since acquiring Luka Doncic. Few things have caused more crash outs by opponents and fans surrounding the Lakers in recent years than free throw shooting. Multiple head coaches, from Monty Williams with the Suns to Darko Rajakovic of the Raptors, have been fined for post-game meltdowns regarding who took more trips to the charity stripe. No matter how simple the explanations were, the anger never subsided. And one would have been fair to assume that bringing in Luka Doncic would only exacerbate that perceived discrepancy. Last season, Luka was 3rd in the league in free throws attempted per game. However, quite surprisingly, the opposite has happened. Underscore 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 underscore. Latest video from SB Nation. Since Luka has arrived in LA, the Lakers have gone from first in free throw differential to middle of the pack in the league. Let's break it down a bit. Since January 28, the Lakers are 7th in the league in free throws attempted per game at 23.5. Prior to Anthony Davis's last game, they were 12th in free throw attempts per contest at 22.9. So, predictably, the free throws have gone up. Which means the change is on the other end. With AD in the middle of the court, the Lakers allowed just 18.3 free throws per game, the second fewest. Since his departure, they have plummeted to 25th, allowing 23.6 attempts per game. If he were still eligible for the award, this would be another mark in AD's Defensive Player of the Year case. It's not entirely AD simply not being there anymore. The Lakers have employed a different style of defense than they did with AD that lends itself to more fouling. With Davis on the court, their offense was built around funneling players to him at the rim, to simplify things. Without him, they've flown around the court more, switched more and been forced to be more aggressive. With AD, they committed the fewest fouls per game. Without him, they've moved up to 23rd, committing 3 more fouls per game. It's a small change, but one with a simple explanation. Thankfully, it also means fewer disingenuous complaints about their free throw disparity. LeBron James credits Jackson Hayes for holding the Lakers' frontline without Anthony Davis. LeBron James opens up on how Jackson Hayes has stepped up since the blockbuster trade. In the latest episode of the Mind the Game podcast, Lakers star LeBron James spoke in depth on the Los Angeles Lakers and where they stand at this point in the season. James also called out big man Jackson Hayes, who has held the keys to the Lakers' frontcourt since the departure of Anthony Davis. "I gotta give a big shout-out and credit to Jackson Hayes. Him stepping into that void, losing Anthony Davis, it's a lot," said James. "I think Jackson was like, I can't make up for that, and we didn't ask him to make up for that. We needed Jackson to be high energy, be a force on offense, and a lob threat. Jackson has been unbelievable in his minutes, and we're gonna need that from him. We know how it unlocks Luka as well with the lob threat." 24-year-old Jackson Hayes wasn't supposed to be the starting center this year, but he got the job by default after the team lost half of their frontcourt rotation. Hayes, who was drafted 8th overall in 2019, has now become the last dependable big man for the Lakers amid a season of change. For years, Anthony Davis led the front lines, alongside LeBron James and various centers. Davis made the Lakers an elite defensive team, and he thrived in Los Angeles with averages of 24.8 points, 8.6 rebounds, and 4.4 assists per game on 41.8% shooting. In 2020, Davis and LeBron won a championship for LA and cemented their place in history as one of the greatest Lakers duos ever. This past season, however, Davis was moved in a shocking blockbuster trade with the Mavericks. In exchange for Davis and Max Christie, the Lakers were able to build for the future with Luka Doncic and Maxi Kleber. The only problem is that it left the Lakers vulnerable in the frontcourt. After they rescinded the trade for Mark Williams, the Lakers were left without a proven starting center, and many experts believe it will be the flaw that leads to their demise. With averages of 7.0 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 1.1 assists per game on 73.1% shooting this season, Hayes' stats are far from impressive, but it's been necessary for the Lakers to stay alive. His defense, size, and rebounding have been huge for them in the second half of this season, but it remains to be seen if it's enough to carry them in the playoffs. Without a proper starting center, teams will be looking to exploit the Lakers' thin frontcourt with aggressive interior play. They will take it inside again and again, hoping to expose Hayes every chance they get. So far, Jackson has handled it like a pro. LeBron James and Luka Doncic are confident they can figure out a way to open up the floor for all of their teammates, but they'll need Hayes to deliver on his end of the bargain. So far, he's off to a great start by making himself useful as a steady and consistent presence around the rim.